What's good, everyone? It's your boy Salos, and let me tell you something, okay? It is currently 12:19 at night, and I have work in like 4 hours, but I just can't sleep, you guys, because I have just been thinking about this freaking kid called Ash Ketchum all day. Like, this is my second time trying to make this video. The first time I was just a rambling mess and I just couldn't make a cohesive thought about anything. But I think what I was trying to say in that first video was that Ash really is the catalyst to me just being the Pokemon fan I am today. He is the catalyst of me being a competitive player. He's the catalyst of me wanting to be the strongest there is. Like, I know that in my competitive career, I've had some pretty insane feats. I was literally like Leon at my school. I was the undefeated champion, or as they called me, the dark horse of the tournament, because I was the freshman. I was the new kid on the block. Everyone in the game room kind of knew each other. They all fought each other, so they all knew their one tactics. But I was the one guy that no one knew anything about because I was very into my studies. I went in with Hope Scholarship, which is the Georgia equivalent of having, I wouldn't say a full ride, but pretty much a full ride to college. So I think the Hope Scholarship covers about 90% of all your expenses. So yeah, my focus was my grades first and foremost. So gaming was on the sidelines. And it really was my roommate. Shout out to my boy Two Fang, long friends of the channel. But he was the one who dragged me out of my hole. It's like, bro, you got skills. You have to compete at this tournament. And I ended up going undefeated and winning the whole thing. And even when I fought some of the people afterwards, like, I still never lost a game at my time at that school. Some other things I've done is, in a little group chat that I've had, we have like our own little tournament setting where once again I was undefeated for like about 2 or 3 months before, ironically, my boy Two Fangsaur was the one to finally break my win streak. Back in Gen 5, I was nominated to be in this private showdown league, which I've told the story a couple of times, but pretty much I was a monotype. It was like a monotype server, so I was the monotype water and ice gym leader. So, and I got that because it was like a whole little league system there. It was like you had the gym leaders, you had Elite Fours and the champion, and and to even get into that server, you had to defeat a certain number of the gym leaders. So apparently I did so well in the battles that they just offered me a gym leader on the spot, because technically you're not supposed to just become a gym leader. You're supposed to be like a gym trainer, and after you've beaten a certain amount of gym trainers, you get challenged a gym leader, kind of like how the games are. But I impressed them so much because I defeated like 3 of the gym leaders and 2 of the Elite Four members, and I lost to the champion. But they were just so impressed on my skills that they just offered me a gym leader spot like right then and there. So I'm saying all of this is that Ash really has driven me to be the very best like no one ever was. I still remember, I told the story in the first video, but I still remember my first Pokemon episode like it was yesterday. I was on a field trip. It was a Friday afternoon. My school took me to like this Discovery Channel museum, and from the gift shop, I remember my grandpa, he bought me this like Earth globe keychain or something like that. And I remember I was just playing with it because this is like back when both my parents worked full time. So I believe my mom was on a business trip, so it was my dad who had to come and pick me up. So he came and picked me up from my grandpa's house, and it was Friday night, and he was like my dad has always been very involved in my life, even now. Like like we text almost every day, but it was this one night specifically where he was just really tired from work. So to kind of, I guess like he's wanting to have like a chill night. So we ordered Pizza Hut. We went to I can't remember if it was Hollywood Video or Blockbuster. Doesn't matter, they're both out of business now. But he said just pick any movie I want and we'll just have a pizza night. And this was my first. I picked Pokemon because at my church it was like really popular to play Pokemon games. So the pastor's kid would always let me play his Game Boy, and he was a Charizard kid. So I remember I was just playing through his Game Boy game, and I was like, "Yo, this is so awesome! I love this game so much." Remember we saw Onix for the first time. We were like, "Oh my gosh, Onix was so cool!" And then I still remember when Gen 2 came out. Like, he was like my only friend because some of the other kids were kind of growing out of Pokemon. But I remember when Gen 2 came out, he was like the one guy that was like, "Yo, look at Cyndaquil. Isn't Cyndaquil so cool?" And we were both torn. We didn't know he wanted Cyndaquil or Totodile, but we just thought those two were so awesome. So that really was my little bonding with him. Like, we had nothing in common outside of Pokemon. Like, we were still friends on Facebook, and even now it's like we are like two totally different people. I don't even know if he even still likes Pokemon. Probably not. He probably grew out of it. But yeah, it really was just that experience that I didn't have my own Game Boy at the time. So I just wanted to learn more about this series that I played at church. So I picked up a copy. I can't remember if it was Bye Bye Butterfree or if it was the SSN episode, but I know that those were like the two that were always in stock at the Blockbuster / Hollywood Video. And I just remember I would always rent them out, and it was the SSN arc was just, I have that, I watched that so many times as a kid. I have that, like, the whole thing just almost burned in my brain. I think it was Bye Bye Butterfree. I think that was the first episode I ever saw of the Pokemon anime. And I just remember, like, I didn't have the memories of Ash catching, like, that was his first Pokemon. But I just remember, like, that episode did such a good job of just showing how much this kid loved his weird little monsters. And I just remember I just cried. I didn't know anything about this stupid butterfly. I didn't know it. I knew what a Butterfree was. Like I said, I played the games. But just, I don't know. Ash is like, I related to him because I wanted my first Pokemon too. That's why I got the freaking DVD. Because I wanted to have my own Pokemon. So to see him I got the concept. Like, he was a trainer. He had his own team. And like, to release that, I felt that. So like, I'm even tearing up right now. But like, it was just so heartbreaking. I was like, no, Ash, you gotta keep Butterfree. You gotta keep Butterfree. But in the grand scheme of things, Butterfree's a pretty terrible Pokemon. So good on you, Ash. You probably made the right call by releasing it. But yeah, and ever since then, like, I just fell in love with the anime. I didn't really watch the Kanto anime all too consistently. I don't think any of us did. But I just remember I watched it whenever I could. And my sister, she's a real one. She would sit through it sometimes too with the anime. So we would, I think I just remember the one time we both got into the anime. It was in the, I think it was, what was it, the Silver Conference? What was it called? It wasn't called the Johto League. I think it was called the Silver Conference. But it was that whole arc with Blaziken versus Charizard. And I remember when it was coming on Kids WB, like, my sister was invested into that crap. Like, I remember, like, it was one day after school. She came out because we're a year and a half apart, so she got out of class a little bit before me, but she was like, "Come on, Kels, we gotta get back home. If we leave like right now, we'll make it to see Ash versus Harrison." I was like, wait, you actually want to watch that? I thought you were just watching it because of me. It's like, no, we gotta see if Ash wins. We gotta see if Charizard beats that new Pokemon. So it's like, I really, I don't know. My sister hasn't really cared about Pokemon ever since then. It was like, ever since, like, I showed her the Kalos League, and she was kind of like, oh, that's cool. You still watch Pokemon. Okay. So I don't think she really cares that Ash won this giant league. But all of this is to say that Ash really is the catalyst. He was the start of it all. And I think one of the things that about the Pokemon anime that has always just kind of irked me is that I have been striving to be the very best. Like I said, I started the video telling you all the things I've done in my competitive career. And it's just that, like, Ash is the reason why I got into competitive Pokemon, because that's my goal, is to become the very best like no one ever was. And I'm not gonna stop until I become the very best. What does that mean in the real world? I don't really know what that means. Does that mean being the world champion? Does that mean going to VGC? I don't know what that means. All I know is that I just want to be a really good trainer. So it really just started that I just wanted to be like Ash, because we had this same love for Pokemon. 25 years later, I still, 27 really, because Pokemon came out in 1995. The anime started in 1997. But we both have this love for Pokemon. That's the goal of it all, that we love Pokemon and we just want to be with them, and we want them to be a part of our lives forever. And I'm like a grown adult now, and Pokemon is still a pretty big part of my life, I'd say. So, like, as I've been getting better, I've wanted Ash to get better too. Like, it's just a part of just good writing, because I also went to school for film, and everyone loves to cheer for the underdog. Like, Ash is the underdog, especially in this Masters 8 arc. Like, him and Iris, they were both the underdogs. Poor Iris, I felt for her, especially when she tried so hard against Cynthia too, dog. Like, we knew Iris was gonna lose, but like that scene when Iris was like, she was trying to be. I feel like Iris being a champion, they were champions, but these were like, they were going against like Steven, they were going against Cynthia, people who have been champions for decades. They've been champions for like what, a couple of months or a year max, but you know, Ash never ages. But it was just when she lost, like, she was trying to be a good sport, but when she got to Ash, like when no one else was looking, all she could do was just cry, because she wanted to win so bad. Especially Cynthia, because Cynthia was like her mentor, and she was always pushing Iris to be better, and she wanted to prove to Cynthia how much she's grown. And to just fail, it was like, we felt that. We actually felt that, because we have seen Ash just fail time and time again. He gets so close every single time. He is so close to winning in the Sinnoh League. Like, he pulled out all the stops in the Sinnoh League. Like, even to this day, there is nothing he could have done. He put everything. He went back to Oak's lab. He was using every Pokemon he had up until that point, because he knew that he had to bring everything to the game. Like, that was the season Ash was like, I am tired of losing. I want to win. I want this so bad. And then freaking Tobias happens. Like, a kid with a Darkrai, he gets like 5-0'd by a Darkrai, and it's like, why does the staff hate this kid so much? Like, why can't he ever get a win? And then Unova League, we don't talk about Unova, and the Kalos League. Like, the Kalos League, I know to this day people are still very upset about the Kalos League, but I will always say that, like, if Ash is gonna lose to anyone, I'm glad it was Alon. Because Alon was a very well-written character. I think besides Ash, Alon is probably my favorite character in the anime. So I wasn't really too upset that he lost, but I get it. It's just that same feeling of the Kalos League. I mean, the same feeling of the Unova League. Like, he had this OP, like, he literally had his personalized Mega Evolution, and he still lost. Like, it was like after that, like, Ash Greninja quite literally was plot armor personified. And at that point, we were like, if Ash has literal plot armor and still loses, this kid is hopeless. He's never gonna win a league. He's never gonna win anything. I feel like that's why the Alola League felt so shallow. And I know that people go to Alola and they're like, well, he got Ash Ketchum Day. He made news headlines. He finally won a tournament, and now he's a champion of Alola. But to me, it just didn't feel right. It felt like they knew they screwed up in Kalos. Honestly, I feel like that they felt the backlash because people were angry. I have never seen like the Pokemon community that feral. Like, to this day, I remember just how angry people were about Ash losing the Kalos League, because to this day, you can still feel the ripples of it. People have not gotten over the Kalos League. That was 2016. That was 17, 18, 19, 20. That was 6 years ago, and people are still talking about the Kalos League. People were that angry that Ash, and it's because of that same thing. We just want to see this kid succeed. And there are so many people like me. We all relate to Ash. We all love Pokemon. We are grown adults and we still love Pokemon. We have this same love for Pokemon as Ash does. And people have gone to become world champions. You have Wolfie. You have people who have grown up with this franchise. And we all have our own little personal stories with Pokemon. But at the end of the day, we all just love the series just like Ash does. So we want to see someone that like, it's kind of like representation in media, right? It's like people care about representation. Like, they want to, because they want to see someone who they can relate to. They want to see someone who can understand where they are. And in a way, we kind of see ourselves as Ash, but we're afraid to say that because it's like he's journeying, but he's not really getting anywhere. So that's why I feel like people are just like, we've given up on Ash. Like, just give us a new protagonist, give us Red or someone. Because you know why people always make the Ash versus Red comparison? Because Red actually gets stuff done. Red actually wins. He actually loses. Like, Red is not a perfect trainer. Like, he has his flaws. But at the end of the day, he's a legendary trainer. And we, like, for most of us, we started our adventure as Red, because a lot of us, our first games were the Gen 1 games. So Red is like a stand-in character for us because Red has achieved legendary status. In Pokemon Masters, he is a trainer that everyone fears. No matter what media Red appears in, he is always looked at as a powerful trainer that everyone respects. Even champions are afraid of Red. Like, champions. Like, when Cynthia met Red, she was training her butt off. Like, there's this one arc, like, I think it was like with, it was the recent anniversary, the 3-year anniversary from Pokemon Masters. It was an exposition match between Red and Cynthia. And Cynthia was like training like crazy. Like, Cynthia, probably one of the most feared champions in the Pokemon universe. And Red was making her sweat. She isolated herself on the Paseo Mountains. And she was like in deep training because she was like, I can't lose to Red. I can't lose to Red. I cannot lose to Red. It's not out of pure spite. It's out of pure respect that she wanted to give her best and that she knew that he was a threat. Like, that's what we want Ash to be. We want Ash to be a strong trainer. We want him to be respected. So, to finally see it happen and how it happened, like, I'm actually kind of glad he lost the Kalos League because, well, I don't know, it would have been a nice little it would have been a nice progression. Like, he would have won the Kalos League. It would have been his first league win. Gen 7, he would have become a champion. And Gen 8, he would have been the strongest trainer in the world. I feel like that would have been a very nice arc, but we don't live in a perfect world. But just the entire battle, I don't mean to gloss over the rest of the fight. Like, the entire fight was beautiful. I recommend watching all 4 parts of Ash vs. Leon. But it really was the episode today, like the last clash between Pikachu and Charizard. And let me just take a little bit about Leon, okay? I know this is about Ash, but let me just talk about his opponent, because I feel like they are 2 sides of the same coin. And everyone is making a comparison right now. Like, everyone's saying, oh, Ash versus Paul got bodied. And I'm just going to touch on that just a little bit, because I feel like Ash versus Paul, you can't make that comparison, because the point of Ash versus Paul wasn't about Ash being a strong trainer. That was never the point of the rivalry. It was the fact that Ash and Paul were on equal footings. And Paul, I don't know if people remember this, but Paul had the same amount of gym badges as Ash. The only thing Paul didn't have that Ash didn't have at that point in the series was that he didn't do the Battle Frontier. That's the only thing Ash had on Paul. And I remember that because Paul actually tried to fight Brandon and he couldn't beat him. And then when they found out that Ash actually beat Brandon, he got a little angry about that. But yeah, it was, and Paul pretty much just insulted his battle style. He was like, love, compassion, you're wasting your time. Pokemon have clear limits and they cannot break past them. If you're training a weak Pokemon, it will always be a weak Pokemon. And Ash took that personally, because Ash is the kind of person that he believes in his Pokemon. Every catch that Ash has had has been like kind of on a whim. And he just works with the Pokemon. He learns their personalities. He learns how they like to fight. Like, with as much as crap as the Unova League is, I think this is probably the best Ash moment. Was with what's the kid's name? Oshawott. When he learned that Oshawott was afraid to open his eyes underwater, like, he did his best to like kind of work around that. It's like, okay, you can't open your eyes underwater. All right, let's work with that. And because Ash believed in him, and Ash was really trying to understand his perspective on things, he overcame that fear. He opened his eyes and he learned Aqua Jet. So it really was just a personal attack on Ash, and it wasn't about proving that he's a stronger trainer than Paul. He never cared about that. All he cared about was that he just wanted to prove to himself that the way that he trains his Pokemon is the right way. It is just as valid as a strategy as Paul. But on every front, every time those two clashed, Paul like clapped him, and who could forget the Lady Valor beat down? That was just, I think that's, to this day, that's probably the most brutal loss Ash has ever received. I don't think Ash has ever taken a harder L than Lady Valor. And it really was in the Sinnoh League, and it all came back with full circle with the Pokemon that Paul released because he deemed him that he wasn't worthy. That he saw a potential in that Chimchar, and he just thought he misjudged it, saying it's useless trash, so I don't need you anymore. So it was perfect symbolism that Ash's battle style, that he believed in Chimchar. He saw the same thing that Paul saw, but he just didn't give up on him. He was like, no, I know you can do this, Chimchar. I know you're a good Pokemon. I know you're strong. Let's prove Paul wrong together. And the fact that he won with Paul's old Pokemon not only showed Paul that he gave up on Chimchar and he gave up such a powerful Pokemon, but it also validated to Ash himself that his battle style is just as valid as Paul's, if not more superior. And that is the beauty of Ash versus Paul. So, to say that about, and I give all that backstory because now we go to Leon. And a little more backstory about Leon. Like I said, I feel like Leon is probably my favorite champion because how with Ash versus Paul, it really is the rival that kind of makes the battle what it is. I don't feel like that's the case with Leon, but Leon is probably my favorite champion because I don't know if you guys have kind of picked up on the fact, but I am black. So it's kind of cool to see a black champion be like the world's strongest trainer. Not gonna lie, that's kind of awesome. But also, for the longest time now, I know it's Charizard and more Kanto dick sucking. Wait, can I say that on YouTube? Whatever, I said it. But I've always just wanted a champion to have a starter because think about the Pokemon universe. Out of all the gym leaders, out of all the Frontier brains, out of everyone, how many of them actually use starters? Because the only one I can think of, the only people that come to mind that actually use starters on their base teams, by the way, not rematches, but is Gardenia. She uses a Turtwig, and Caitlin's Butler using Napoleon. I don't think I'm forgetting anyone. Does anyone else use starters? So it's just that out of all these kids that, because we all start our journeys with Tricos and Mudkips and Charmanders and whatnot. And you tell me that out of all these kids, all these millions of kids, not a single one of them has rose the ranks to a gym leader. Not a single one of them has become a champion. I mean, it's cool that we have people like Steven who have powerhouses as aces like Metagross and Lance with his Dragonite or Cynthia and her Garchomp. Which, and I mean, we do get some backstory on that, but are you telling me that none of the starter kids rose the ranks to become the strongest trainer? So Leon, to me, it kind of does feel like that's like the whole thing with Red. It feels like he is one of us. Like he is kind of like a stand-in for us. I feel like Leon in another timeline, he was a protagonist at some point. So I don't know, just seeing him with his ace being his Charizard, again, I know it's Charizard and it could have been any other starter. Like, it would have been cool if he had like a Swampert that was this strong or something that's not a Charizard. I get that argument because the Kalos League, the imposing Pokemon was Charizard. Ash's strongest Pokemon is a Charizard. Even freaking, what's his face? Alola Marowak guy from Alola, he had a Charizard. It's like, they're kind of gaslighting Charizard as like this super overpowered Pokemon. It's kind of like Lucario in the anime. Every time you see a Lucario in the anime, it's like God tier for whatever reason. But yeah, all that to say is that I feel like Leon is, especially like they did such a good job of just showing just how similar Leon and Ash are as characters. Especially like, I know people say like Leon's just kind of been written as Omni-Man, where he's just invincible for no reason. But I really did like the Darkest Day arc in Journeys, because when Leon got clapped by Eternatus, everyone kind of internalized that as Leon, like, oh yeah, knock him down a peg. You're not all that Leon. You're not all that strong. You're not this invincible trainer that no one can touch. Leon was actually kind of happy because Leon really felt like he had eclipsed. He felt like he couldn't get any better than he already was, and that was saddening to him because his goal to become the strongest trainer, he never wanted to be like, he never aimed to be the world's strongest trainer. Well, maybe he did. His goals are kind of ambiguous. But it was very clearly shown that Leon was kind of sad that he was so strong. He was like, dang, are these my limits? Is this really as strong as I can get? So when he got clapped by Eternatus, he was kind of excited. He was like, this isn't my limit. I still can go farther, and I still can get stronger. And I feel like in the battle with Ash, you really saw that come full circle. Because Leon is like, even like when you see Leon use the counter shield from Ash's battle with Cynthia, it just shows that Leon is still evolving and he's still trying to grow as a trainer. So I feel like Ash really did push Leon to become the strongest he's been in so long. Ash really did bring the best out of Leon, and I love that because it just shows that, again, it's just that dorkiness that Leon's just like us. He's just a guy who loves Pokemon, and he just wants to be the best, and he became the best. So, I don't know, I love Leon as an opponent, but the kid, we're all here for the kid. We're all here for Ash. We're all here to support him, right? And again, if they ended it in Alola, I wouldn't have felt satisfied because I feel like it was still just a pity win. Like the finals of the Alola League was a 3v3. Like, bro, are you kidding me? So, okay, let me not dick on that too much because Alola was a good series in its own right. I don't want to give off that impression like I didn't like Alola, but it was like I said, the whole battle was phenomenal. But it really was the episode today that just got it's like I haven't just sat here and just thought about. I've watched that episode so many times today, and it's just that whole journey because we've all seen Ash fail time and time again. You see Ash and Pikachu giving it their absolute all. Like when Pikachu's running on the railing of the stadium and Charizard's just chasing him down, it's like, oh my gosh, that was so good. And then Pikachu's like just trying to keep up, just desperately trying to take down this Charizard. And then when you see Charizard use like the strongest Fire Blast because Leon's just so fired up from the battle, and you just hear like when the stadium just grows quiet, and you just see everyone in the stadium just watching in shock. Like Pikachu just took a Fire Blast to the face, and we're all, because we've all been there. We all saw it with Harrison, when Harrison was able to clutch it out because Blaziken used Flamethrower on the ground to soften the impact. And you see Blaziken and Charizard struggling to get back to their feet. They both get back up, but Charizard falls. You saw it in the Hoenn League with Harrison. Wait, was it Harrison? No, I forgot that kid's name. The Puss in Boots Meow. Whereas Pikachu, trying his hardest to keep hope alive, to just not go down, and he goes down. You see it with Tobias, where Ash turns the hat backwards. Ash feels defeated. He's like, it's a freaking Latios, Pikachu. We can't do this. We can't win, Pikachu. But Pikachu is right there like, Ash, I'm not giving up, and neither should you. So he flips the hat backwards, and he doesn't win, but he ties with the Latios. Ash gives it his all, but we saw it again. He may have got the double knockout, but at the end, he lost the battle. We saw it in the Kalos League, where he had Ash Greninja on his side. We thought that he was never gonna lose, and he just falls. So when Pikachu was just sitting there panting, we're like, no, not again, Pikachu, please, Pikachu, you know how much this means to us. Please, Pikachu, don't fall, don't. And then it goes to his point of view. He collapses, and then you just hear Ash just yell Pikachu's name, and his face to black. We're like, it happened again. The boy didn't win. He gave his all too. You see Ash just so fired up in this battle. You see him just trying so hard, and still not enough. Like, how much more can this kid give? This guy has poured his heart and soul into this battle, and it's still not enough? Are you saying that he's still not strong enough? But then the moment that just gets me every time was, you see like the OG squad, you see Bulbasaur, you see Squirtle with the shades, you see Butterfree, you see freaking Primeape, you see Pidgeot, you see the whole Kanto squad. They're all there just cheering him on. And then it goes to the freaking Johto squad with Quilava, Bayleaf, and Totodile. They're all there. Even Larvitar's there. Like, bro, Larvitar, that wasn't Ash's Pokemon, but Larvitar is still there rooting him on. And then you go like to Alola, like, all of his teams are there, and you see Solgaleo there. Like that's what I love the most. Like, just the attention to detail. Like, they could just put Ash's Pokemon like his main team, but no, everyone Ash has touched is there just cheering Pikachu on. Like, we all believe in you, Ash. It really felt like the Sinnoh League where Ash had given up, but Pikachu's like, I'm not giving up, and neither should you. But this time, it was Pikachu who was down. It was Pikachu who was out. Like, guess that's it. But he felt that warm embrace. And then you just see Pikachu just like give that smile of satisfaction while he's laying on the ground. Like, thanks everyone. And I don't know what that Super Saiyan form is. I don't know if that's the power of friendship. I don't know if that's determination. I don't know what that is. But Pikachu just finds it in himself to let out this super stacked form. I don't know what it is, but Pikachu is just fired up. He's like, Ash, let's freaking win the world tournament. And Ash flips the hat backwards, and Pikachu has this newfound determination, and Leon has the biggest grin on his face because he feels it too. And then it goes like back to a montage of Leon as a kid. He felt like that kid when he first started his journey because he sees himself in Ash. He sees that determination to become the very best. And Leon is just smiling, grinning ear to ear. And he does the famous, it's champion time! Like, these two are just having so much fun. Because they understand each other so much. It's the complete opposite of Ash versus Paul. When those clashing ideals, here is mutual respect and mutual understanding. They understand each other so well, and that's why they're giving it their all, because they know how much this means to both of them, and neither one of them is backing down. So it's really just that epic. And then like when the OG cancel music starts playing, the OG theme when it kicks in, oh my gosh, I didn't even watch the Japanese dub. I watched the Japanese dub, not the sub. But that moment, just hearing the OG theme, like I was actually tearing up, dude. It was beautiful. It was so beautiful. But then after the battle, it cuts to like the future. And you see Pikachu waking up in a Pokemon hospital. It's like, every time Pikachu is in a hospital, it usually means that things didn't go very well. So we're like, at that point, I was just satisfied. Like, I thought Ash lost, I'm not gonna lie. We got 2 sucker punches. We got the first sucker punch when Pikachu just blacked out on the battlefield. The second sucker punch was when he woke up in the Pokemon hospital. And I was like, he lost. He didn't do it. But after that sequence, even if Ash did lose right here, I would have been satisfied. I would have been so satisfied because Ash and Pikachu, they both understood that they gave it their all, and Leon had the time of his life. And even if he lost, he awakened something in Leon that he didn't even know was there. So Ash, even if he lost this, he struck fear into, he didn't strike fear. He just inspired the strongest trainer in the world to become even stronger. So even if he did lose that battle, I was satisfied. But then it happens. Then it freaking happens. Pikachu remembers. Pikachu really thinks about the battle before he blacked out. And he saw that he was able to tough it out. You saw that Pikachu was able to just give an ounce more energy. Literally a little bit more energy than Charizard. The one thing that all the other Pokemon did. How Blaziken was able to just barely edge it out against Charizard. How Meowth was barely able to edge it out against Pikachu. How Ash's Alon's Charizard was just about to go against Ash's Greninja. It was stumbling, but it catches itself before it falls, and Greninja falls. But not this time. Pikachu's the one toughing it out. Pikachu's the one who came out on top, and Pikachu was the one to stand tall even after Leon's Charizard is just like the impact too. It wasn't like by a little bit. It was just a little bit. Charizard was out cold. and Pikachu is standing on top because Pikachu knows what it's like to be a loser. He's like, not today. It can't be me. Not today. And Pikachu is the winner. And you see Pikachu's going through it. He can't even run back to Ash. He's stumbling. He's crippled. He can barely walk. But he's still conscious. And he's still holding it out because he wants to savor this moment. And I guess he can only hold it together for so long. And then he just collapses. That's what got him in the hospital. But that moment, I don't know. That's like when my eyes were watery. But when Ash actually won, when he actually won, that's when the tears actually started coming out my eyes because I was like, he actually did it. He's already the champion, but this kid is now the strongest trainer in the world. Like, this is a moment, like the chat exploded because I was watching it live. The chat absolutely exploded. Like, even I was at work today, like, I don't know, I had a pretty, like, all things considered, today should have been a terrible day at work, but I was just on fumes from this battle because, I don't know, so much went wrong at work today, but I didn't have a care in the world. Like, that's just how happy I was. I didn't care about my surroundings. I didn't care what was going on around me. Because whenever, like, some BS was happening at work today, I just thought, Ash finally did it. Ash finally did it. He finally, like, I said, like, the Alola League was not fulfilling to me. I don't care. It felt like it was a pity win from Kalos. It felt like they were trying to apologize. But you want to apologize? This is how you freaking apologize. Ash is now the strongest trainer in the entire Pokemon universe. So, it's now 1:01 in the morning. Like I said, I do have work in the morning. So, let me just wrap this up so I can go to sleep. I don't know. I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to sleep. And this is like actually twice the length of the last video. So, oopsie. I'm sorry. You guys say you like my rant videos anyway. So, I'm not sure how many views it's actually gonna get. But all in all this is just to say that as a lifelong Pokemon fan, because I started watching Pokemon when I was 4 years old. So I truly am a lifelong Pokemon fan at this point. So this is just a day I don't think I will ever forget. This feeling, just the community, talking to people, saying, like, throughout the day I've just gotten messages of, because I've also been covering this on my Instagram story, the Masters 8 arc, and people are just like, bro, I haven't cared about the anime since I was 12. I stopped watching Pokemon at the Sinnoh League. I stopped watching Pokemon when I was in middle school. But everyone came back to this battle because everyone, like, the last time this many eyes were on Ash was in the Kalos League, and they were like, oh, Ash just lost again. And that's also what really pisses me off because all people really, I mean, I get it. Ash has a reputation that he always loses, but I feel like if Ash lost this, like, even if I wouldn't personally be satisfied, I know that to everyone else who stopped watching the anime, to everyone else, to the world, they just would have watched it. I was like, well, it was a cool battle, but he still lost. I mean, what do you expect? It's Ash. No, this time they can't say that because like people will not understand the beauty that was Ash Greninja, the bond between Ash and Greninja, because at the end of the day, all they want to know are the results. Well, did he win? No. Okay, yeah, of course it's Ash. Of course he didn't win. They can't say that this time. They will go back and look at this moment and be like, this is the time where the animation was beautiful. Ash gave it his all. It's a celebration because it has the fan service from the original series. This is a moment that you can look back on. And it's not just some random Lycanroc countering another Lycanroc. It's not just some random 3v3 of Ash just getting a trophy. Like, if you go back and watch the Alola League, and then you watch this, it's night and day, y'all. Go back and watch the freaking Alola League win. It doesn't hold a candle. It doesn't even hold a candle to Ash versus Paul. But this battle right here, you can come back to this battle 10, 20 years later, and Ash versus Leon will hold up that this was Ash's greatest battle he ever had. And I don't know, the animation team, they've had their own demons to fight. They've been severely understaffed, underpaid, overworked. So nothing but respect to the animators, nothing but respect to the writing staff, because they've been struggling the entire time with Journeys. The anime as a whole has been a very rocky ride, but this finale just made it all worth it. So thank you. I just want to say thank you to the animators. I know they're not going to watch this video, but if by some stretch of the imagination one of them are watching this, I sincerely thank you for this moment. You made my day. You made my childhood. You made a lot of people's dreams come true. So I know you guys have had your own personal demons you've been facing, but thank you for fighting them. And thank you for pushing through to the very end. And I really hope that you guys are able to take a nice long rest after this, because you have made millions of Pokemon fans around the world just so happy. So from the bottom of my heart, on behalf of the entire Pokemon community, both small and big, old and young, we all thank you. And with that, I'm about to go get some sleep. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'm about to get up out. But until the next one, I'll catch you guys later. Till then, deuces.